and send that one all the way back to the back as far as I can get it here, since those are locked. Let's throw that in there. Alright. So I'm just going to create a form. And you see it's already just given it that tone. And that's looking pretty good. Alright, so I'll just lock that one in. And if I wanted to, might want to give it a gradation. Let's see, gradation from that to white, so let's just there. Maybe more like that. Okay, let's go ahead and see what that looks like. It seems pretty simple. It looks like I have to kind of tweak my transparent layer a bit. It's still not quite in alignment. So what I'm doing is clicking that. It'll click everything on that layer. And I can't tell you how critical it is to get this kind of absolutely correct. Let me go ahead and turn that up to full opacity so I know what I'm dealing with here. That line looks perfect. I guess that's the interior. Here, I'll pause the movie while I get this just right. Okay, now I've got it settled. What I found was when it updated the PDF, because the original size of the PDF was different, it kind of squashed my image a bit. So you may have a similar issue if you decide to change the crop size and then just update. You may want to just place it again. So I'm going to turn this down, back down to 30% or so, and then I'm going to start looking at the other layers. I'm putting the shadows on top of the materials. So again, I may want to kind of tweak and tone down the material quality of this. Still not completely convinced about the transparent. It's actually a really good idea. It's just I don't want to make this hard to read. So maybe I turn it down to 10%. And then the shadows are killing some of the material, just allowing the material just to be a tone, but it may be a little much. So that's without the shadows. That's with. I'm going to turn this to multiply and see what happens. Almost nothing. It just gives it a little bit more contrast. Okay. So let's not multiply. And let's just tweak this. Just trying to kill the materiality just a bit. This is turning out pretty good. So the major things that you'd probably want to tweak at this point is to make sure that everything is really how you want it. So if you want to kind of change the situation of how much gray, how much poche you have here, or do you want even to have poche, you can do that here. So if I just kind of turn off and just have my line work setting on, I can start to tweak some of these fills to be maybe more closer to or absolutely white. So a lot of these things that I'm cutting through might show up as pure white. Get rid of some of the line work that really wasn't worth kind of getting rid of before. So it's just general kind of cleanup. There's always going to be a little bit of this to be done. One thing of note in Revit, there's also if we go back a few steps here, something that you should be aware of. I'll just turn off hidden line work or the transparency. One thing you also should be aware of is under materials, there's what's called a poche. And when you're on coarse, you can change this color to be, let's just say there's something obnoxious. And when you're on a coarse setting, it'll change all the poche that you have. Apparently I have some issue here. It's not really solid. So anyway, it's just something you should know, that be aware of, so that maybe that's a layer that you bring in, and that then you can control kind of all poche to switch to a different color. So anyway, now I would start to tweak all of that. Get rid of a few kind of nasties, a line here or there that I really would rather not be there. This scissors tool can be some of your best friend. I think what I'll end up doing is just turning off the outline of this object. And than you know, drawing it myself. You know, so there may be some drawing that you have to do. I'm just going to throw that on different layers so I'm having, so I don't have so many problems. I may actually end there because and just kind of pull this line weight, this thicker one. So give it a little pop, come up here, a little pop. And just to keep this kind of illusion going, I'm going to get rid of these lines, this idea that the grass is there is, I think, important. And something I might want to think about kind of removing some of these lines too. You can see though that they're on some of my transparent shadow layers too, so I'll have to you know, we'll have to decide whether that's important or not. Alright, this is looking pretty good. You know, there's a few things I would still tweak. Get rid of kind of these lines down here, so that, or maybe just make sure that this is absolutely white. Alright, so the last thing I'll do is I'll come over here and just crop this. Obviously I don't want it to kind of go beyond where the clouds are. So all of that information get cropped out. So when you do your save as, what you will do want to make sure, if you bring this into another file to put everything else together, is you do a save as, and you'll notice that when you do actually, let me see, file, I'll export, say, to a JPEG or a PNG or a TIFF or something like that. You can say use artboards, and that will basically crop out anything beyond your artboard. So I recommend using that. All right.